how can we fix that؟ شلون نقدر نشيل الارrow؟ لأن by default انتوا اللي عندكم مبين probably like this صح؟ أو حاطينه على الطرف كذي which might work if you have enough space أو مسوينه definitely you shouldn't do this is there's a gap. This is pointing to an exact spot بالبلان فلازم يكون بالضبط على هذا. الحين we're assuming that the spot is actually بنص الدائرة هذه. شلون اقدر اشيل الارو؟
اللي فوق مكتوب عند ال A في minus.
شلون؟ duplicate اوكي لان ما نبي نعدل تذكرون الاشياء اللي قاعد نسوي لها كستمايزيشن لو عدلناها راح تغير كل الفايل سواء هني او فايلات ثانيه لما نبتدي نستخدم other projects. edit type duplicate هني write down without arrow بين قوسين او dash try to be consistent without او WO أنا حاطط شيء leader without arrow or just without arrow. Right? Once you edit the name بعدين نروح عندنا هني where it says leader arrowhead okay and change it from arrow 30 degrees by default to none. Okay, and then once you select that, select all your text غيروه to be the without arrow. That's the header. The arrow lock, so you have fewer things interfering and overlapping your data. Be careful with your text. Is this fine? Everyone's clear with that? Be careful with your text and by default it has a mask. لا تحطون الماسك مع التكست شوية يغطي part of the drawing like this. Information. Okay.
So I have a question. In the place of that text, I have the door. Should I change the position of the text, or should I do it that way?
If you have an element that needs to be there, then you can move the text, مثلا, and add a leader to point to that dot. So we know that that point is 116 or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be there, especially if you ما نبي نغير التصميم عشان التكست. Although in this case, by the way, we can. إذا في عندكم مشكلة بالانوتيشن عشان في شغلة بالموديل إذا أبسط نوخر شغلة بالموديل just do that, fix the model. بس when you're designing يعني ما راح أغير مكان الباب عشان مو قادر أحط تكست بالمكان هذا. So you can do leaders and other things. إنزين. يمكن تكلمت عن هالشغلة آخر مرة بس الحين 664, 666, 667 هذول شنو؟ Plus, there are neighbors, صح؟ زين. الحين if my neighbor wants to build a wall, where would they build it? On their side, صح? You see this is the vertical line, this is the center of my plot and their plot. Some of you have your walls in your neighbor's plot. When you select your plot, لازم يصير 90 degrees داخل القسيمة. The corner is where the point is. ما يصير من فوقها تكون برا. So you can do a line. أول شيء يعني when you select the wall, the location line should say ممكن finish face exterior. and then align it to your property line, which is at the center of your corner plot hub. مثل ما ذكرت, masking, generally we need to mask different annotations and different text. فهني مثلا عندي أرضية, لازم أحط mask ورا my annotation, unless my annotation itself has a mask, which we can talk about with the window and door tag. This one مثلا does not have a tag by default. I need to add a mask. This is the region. Otherwise, راح يبين الأرضية, the flooring is going to show below. Speaking of flooring, flooring should be light. Line weights by itself is not enough, especially with this much information in our model. فالحل إن I change it to grayscale. You change to grayscale and you print. It might not be light enough. Then you might lower the grayscale and you print again. Okay? Or go to your other plans, راح تلاقون انت حطيتوا meters in the other ones. إذا تروحون بالground floor, you might find instead of 300 it says 0.30, because you did not change the type. The كوننا we did a custom type مع spot elevation وغيرنا dimension. So your dimensions you might the only plan with meters هو السايت. double check بالسايت ما في ولا ملي, no ما في 8000 7000 whatever it is, نشيل هالارقام من السايت بلان. double check all your other plans and elevations الحين. كل مرة نحط dimension نتأكد إنه we're using the standard one using project units, parameters, which is millimeters.
So I just change them again the way we did before?
No, you just الحين احنا شنو سوينا؟ Remember the site plan, we created a custom spot elevation that does meters.
Yeah.
So the other one, target project, اللي مو مكتوب في meters هو ال 4000.
Okay.
Then it's using the project settings.
Yeah.
So I just have to make sure that everything else is project settings, except this one. So you don't have to redo them, you just select your dimension and make sure in the site it says meters, or in the plans it says بدون meters, اللي هو millimeters by default. A lot of you are missing either the 30 or the 27. Make sure you include both dimensions, our plot and the neighbor's plot. A lot of you, your dimensions in 1.7 or 2.5, a couple of issues. Either they're too close, like this, or there's a curve, the leader is curved, the line leading to it is curved. This is either off, or it's the numbers are on top of your model lines فصعب. It's a big mess. This is the best way إن يكون عندنا the 3 dimension برا. Any questions about the site? Here, some of you don't have your elements aligned. A couple of issues. We talk about symbols. This box هذا عبارة عن شنو؟ هو هذا شنو الخط؟ Telephone line صح؟ I added a couple of clarification text في عندنا SS sewage لفته فوق, so we know it's continuation of this one. In addition, not instead of. SS مكتوب تحت ومكتوب فوق عشان ما نضيع شنو هالخط. وهني ضفنا TL و WS على الخطوط هذه اللي لاخر. Okay, and notice where this box, هذا البوكس مال التليفون. And make sure to add a mask على الدائرة وعلى البوكس. الحين this box هو نفسه البوكس اللي فوق، هو نفس الخط تليفون لاين. فهذا لا يصير أكبر. يعني some of you have this as a larger box. This, you just copy it. Copy the one you did down to be the same one up. Okay, it's the same line. Some of you have different text sizes. يعني ال SS هني يمكن غير ال RKS. Another comment, some of you place your text a bit too far from what it's referring to. And A2 يمكن صايرة كذي بعيدة. It should be clear that this is part of it and keep it with to other plans. Your legend, this needs to be aligned. حطوا one guideline. They all need to be lining up. Some of you have some shifts right and left, or I don't know what the reason is. وهذيلا نفس distances, it's all centered. Double check your spelling. هذا صار G-U-L-L-Y gully بدل galley. وغيرنا, if you remember this, from pillar with an E to pillar with an A. So just double check those spellings. Any questions about?
I have a question about masking. If I right under the masking region and I want it to be on top of that, how do I do that?
It depends. So let me show you something. And I'm gonna mask the entire stuff. Okay, can everyone see what I just did? حطيت ماسك على الرسمة كلها. Okay? شوفوا الأشياء اللي did not get masked. يعني في elements several things, whether we're talking about text, whether we're talking about dimensions, leader lines, يسوونه على structural grid, هم structural grid ما راح يروح, section cut line. So عندي a couple of things. إذا يعني بإمكان إن أحرك الخط اللي فيه مشكلة, خلينا نضغط section cut line. Maybe section cut line can move if I want to. Maybe my dimension line can move. إذا هذا الخط ثابت ما أقدر أحركه, خلاص أشوف مكان ثاني حق التكست أو الليبل, وممكن أحط leader صوت ثاني.
I did a masking before the picture and I wanted the sync to show on top of it. I couldn't. Just stay right under masking. My
أوكي, شغلة ثانية. الماسكينج أقدر أسوي فيه, الحين خلينا نشوف هذا الماسك. I can do like a donut. And again, feet. فصار like a window. Let's do it الحين. And at least a lot of you had this issue with the counter. So any other questions aside? Clear?
I'll ask a question. How do you scale something?
There's a scale. You select the material you want. There's a scale RE is the shortcut,
But
and you can do graphical or numerical. Select the origin, but you can't scale everything. Many things cannot be scaled.
Yeah, like I have a grouped object.
Yeah, so you have to check what you can and cannot scale. Some things you cannot scale. Text, you cannot scale. You have to change the settings with text. Okay, Nurhan?
Yes,
Side?
and the number of the plot, it's all the same.
هذول كلهم نفس السايز Arial except this one because that's our plot. This is our plot, so our plot number should be larger. The hatch of the grass, we can use sand. Yeah, حنحط concrete. نحط concrete. The hatch مع الأرضية should be sand or something. Again, watch out for your masks, masking regions. عندنا التاجز هذيلا راح تلاحظون هني في ماسك وراء. إذا ما حطيت الماسك الأرضية راح تبين الخطوط وراها. شكل مو حاطة ماسك. Spot elevations. هني ما في ماسك. I need to add a mask. Masking region. Okay, so you can block and make sure to move it with the mask when you want to move your spot elevation. Now, our labels, door tag. Try to move it somewhere where there's something behind it. Do you have a mask under it? What that? You added it? So if you didn't add a mask, there's two things. You can either add it yourself, or you can edit family, and you add it manually. And you can try adding it here, because you have to see how it would affect your. You can add your masking region here. You can do annotate. Sorry, that one. Create masking region. With this one, you can change subcategory to invisible lines, and pick the lines. You can just pick, so you don't have to redraw it.
Wait, how did you create masking region?
Create masking region next to filled region. Change subcategory to invisible lines. And use the pick lines option. You can just pick the lines that you want. And then load it and close, put it in the project. And double check. Move it somewhere where there's a line and see if it works or not. Do the same thing, you can do it with the window. So the other way is you can do it manually for each tab. We don't have that many. Like I said, there are many ways to get to what you want, but we're going to use them again, the elevations, but there's more places for them. Well, usually you can't cover it, صح? It's probably because this is a tag. سويت شلون؟ It doesn't affect it. I think here because it's an annotation that has a mask. Or by default as well, the dimensions مالت text text مال dimensions also cover the section. It's fine. زين. The spot elevations, when you place it, you need to make sure. Now, Shay, where do we find the spot elevation? Annotate spot elevation. Make sure to uncheck. Some of you are keeping leader. You're putting it like this. Hello. Some of you are doing this. شنو المشكلة؟ في leader. There doesn't need to be a leader when you're putting it exactly on the spot. Okay, and then sometimes you're putting it on the right. Okay, uncheck leader. If you will put it straight where it should be. غير لما سوينا البالكني. تذكرون البالكني ما كان في مكان فسوينا arrow حطيناه برا for the side مثلا. But you know where it's gonna go. Uncheck leader. Place it and always keep it top right. Okay? Move مرة top right, مرة top left. Always keep it top right. And don't forget to add a mask under the spot. Okay, let's talk about the mask in here. There's a mask that I added. I didn't model the counter, I just added a mask. So you'll notice when I draw the boundary mask, there's also a boundary here. So the best way to do it, so you're not confused about where the edges, just do pick lines and select the actual lines. So I say a double line. لو صار double line راح تصير a very thick line weight, or you might see two lines. This is trickier in me لأن it has curves. فما راح أقعد أرسم وأعرف الأنجل مال الكيرف. So what I do is I do pick lines and I'm doing thin lines. The edges مالتي already are going to be the edges of the counter. So I do thin lines. Pick lines and I just pick the boundary. I think I could have done also let me undo this. So I do pick, tab, it selects the whole edge and I just click once خلاص. الحين عندي على the edge of that ما يكون في gaps وفي أشياء مبينة. And make sure it's aligned with the finishing on both sides and with the wall. ما يكون في double lines.
There is a kitchen under this mask, so?
It's still there.
Okay, then what's the point of adding a mask on top of it?
عشان ما أشوف الكاونتر. الحين الكيتشن doesn't have a counter. الكيتشن ما في counter، في كبت.
Okay.
فبالطبيعي يكون في رخام أو granite on top.
Yeah.
I don't see each cabinet to go. So I'm adding a mask to look like a counter. Another way could have been I just build it. This takes more time. لما نسوي section, we'll probably do another mask in section. But then when we build it, it's just easier. Some dimensions might be missing. يعني الحين مثلا شنو الدايمنشنز المهمة لما قاعد نتكلم هني؟ الحين مثلا I want to know the sizes of certain spaces. فالمطبخ مثلا لو ما في dimension تحت, I want to add one here. So do align مثلا. ابي اعرف كم عرض المطبخ اذا انا مو حاطه تحت. زين 4020. Is there any reason this should stay 4020؟ لا 20 it's like 2 سنتيمتر يعني 4 متر و2 سم. ليش؟ خلوها 4000. So here نشيل ال 20 صارت 4000. So try to clean up the drawing anytime you have these small numbers, clean it up. انزين stairs. How many of you have up showing? The word up. Most of you might have your up somewhere here, should it? Or somewhere up here. So click and drag it to be somewhere بداية الدرج تحت. في أحد كلمة up مو مبينة مع الارrow؟
Wait, we're supposed to draw the arrow?
No. Oh, that's why I'm telling you how to do it. So annotate. Some of you have it, some of you don't. Stair path, far right. And click on your stair to show the stair path.
So in this
Yes. Annotate, far right, as symbol, مكتوب stair path. لو كذي ما في stair path, you go to stair path. You click on it, راح يطلع ال stair path, and then up, just move it to be down here. Click on annotate. بعدين stair path, far right هني. كلمة up ما تبين. ما تبين كلمة up. And then go to VG. Annotate. Stair paths. Are they all checked? They were not? They are checked? You hit the plus on stair paths? في أحد ثاني عنده مشكلة بالأب؟ Okay. Next thing, I want us to go to the first floor. ايه اذا مو مبين كلش؟
لا بس واحد الثاني
الداشت مو مبين.
ما اسمع.
الداشت مو مبين.
That goes from the VG annotation categories. Stair path. So if it doesn't show, that's also fine. The stair path, that's the above اللي بين قوسين. If you uncheck above, يختفي مع اللي فوق. By default, it's probably unchecked. If your section cut line جاي بالضبط مكان أو يعني يم الارrow, move your section شوي عادي. Don't let it be يعني كذي مثلا. This is too close. Anytime you see two lines coming too close to each other, try to move them around. That's how you can see clearly other information. Let's just show هذا مثلا this end line, if it's right on the edge here, or it's halfway through this line, حركوها. لا تخلونا يعني keep some breathing space between them so we're not confusing which element is which. Your callouts, some of you have not included the wall after the staircase. Make sure that the wall is part of your callout. And make sure your callouts are on every floor. Some of you have maybe callouts on the first floor but it's not on the ground, or the opposite. So So check that your call out مبين كل طابق. Same exact zone. You can have to maybe copy or do a detail line so you know exactly where it is. So make sure the call out on the elevator, on the stairs includes the wall edge in the call out box. The call out by default is a bit light, the line. Do you know how we can edit the line weight on the call out? No.
You want
Line
to-
weights?
Yeah.
How do we fix them? Well, I want to fix them for all the callouts, not just this one. Did someone say object styles?
It's object style.
How do we get to object styles? Manage. Manage object styles. Another way to get to it is in VG راح تلاقون تحت object styles back. So it's the same thing and also to the same place. Callouts, are they model or the annotation objects? Annotation, go down to callout boundary, hit the plus. By default, it's set to number 1. Both of them, by default, it's set to number 1. So you should do it at least number 2. You can test it. When you print, see you might need to make it heavier. And look, if I do it 5, see how much darker it's going to be. You see now the callouts became much darker. This is too dark. So 2, 3 is okay. There were 2 options. لو لاحظت في call out leader line. And leader is this one that leads to the circle, but then this is the actual call out frame. Yes. Object styles, where do we find it? Manage object styles. Is it under model or annotate? Annotate objects down to callout, boundary, hit the plus. And I want to change the boundary and the leader line, both. Minimum 2. It's most likely dash, just make sure it says dash here. Okay, a couple of more things at ground floor before we move up. فتحة elevator is not towards the staircase, it's towards this side. A lot of you have your doors way too close to the elevator. Okay? شو المشكلة هني؟ لو أحد بيطلع من المصعد وفي أحد بطل الباب وين بيروحون؟ مستشفى. You know, broken nose. So minimum كم مسافة نبي minimum؟ يعني أتكلم على minimum spaces for walkways and moving. 1.2 meters 1200 ملي minimum between فتحة باب. Later when I'm done with these notes راح نسوي درج قدام المدخل minimum البسطة متر و20. Okay. One other thing before we check something else. فعندي الباب 5 منا عندنا بيبان قدام الاليفيتر, so make sure متر و20. Some of us have our dining table or other furniture right there. You cannot open, again, get in and out, so just keep your eye out for some common sense things when after layout. Speaking of furniture as well, a lot of you have your TVs نص الصالة أو on the side هني without a wall behind it. شنو المشكلة؟ كهرباء صح؟ You need an extension, otherwise there is a solution. في بالأرض. So you could do it, but there's no really good reason you have. You have a table for the TV, and please avoid ancient TVs. Some of you have these. This way صح؟ الحين أنا هني 4 متر و200 صح؟ وهني 4 متر و200. The first step 4000 صح؟ نزلنا 150 ملي. So you see how when we move this it's going step by step صح؟ الحين شنو الفرق بين this level and this one؟
Is it
No.
So what happens if you're here and you take one step down?
I think not very.
بتروح مع المستشفى مع اللي يطلق كشمة. That's 4 meters. Have you fallen 4 meters in Gabon? You don't want to fall 4 meters. So how do we fix that? We need to add the railing. To edit the railing, you can select the railing in here.
We don't have it.
إذا رسمينا إذا رسمينا نكمل الرسمة to cover the railing, and when we do the stairs back in midterm we will get to that.
So we draw it for now.
Actually we might have to do it for the section next week.
So
We'll see. For now just draw it if you have it. If you have, who has the railing already there?
my railing is gold.
Select the railing, edit path, and just draw the rest of the railing. Check your floors. Some of you, your floors are not aligned with your stairs. So again, edit boundary and make sure this line is aligned with the edge of the stairs. You just draw this line. Edit path, هذا I drew this line. بالعرض. إنزين، شغلة ثانية الحين. This is my bedroom here. So this is the staircase. What's happening in this gap between the two? What can happen?
Railing?
So there's a few options, huh? And this is like a studio / loft. Privacy is not very important. But if privacy was very important, what would I do here?
Wall.
I'd put a wall here and add a door if I want to, or at least have a wall. But that's one option, wall, floor to ceiling. Another option, and it's a railing, then otherwise, again, I would fall من هني لهني صح؟ If I do annotate, spot elevation, هذا 4000 وهذا 1000. Or هني, that's the big difference as well, صح? So I need to have a railing. The railing could be a low wall. So that's another option. إذا بقى مبطل. Or I can have a stair railing, and either a railing as a wall or a railing as a normal metal railing. So there's a few options. So you need to pick one of these and do it. Okay? We can probably focus on that in this section. Just keep that in mind. In the moment that there's something needs to happen here.
بس لما كملت مثلا في الريلينج ما بعد ريلينج
A railing. رسمتي detail line.
لا ريلينج انا اوريدي عندي
عندك railing ورسمتي على الخط.
ايه
وبعدين
رحت يمين ما ريلينج
وباقي railing وين؟
بس موديل فيرست فلور بعد ريلينج موديل بس
Anyway, railing we'll get to it. عقب بس yeah, we'll get to that عقب. Don't worry about it. جايز التعب, that's the problem. Edit path, أحسن. Yeah, we'll get to that عقب. Don't worry about it. Okay. We need also to put a spot elevation Wayne and the landing. So the landing, add a spot elevation so we know halfway what height we are. Bathroom, see some issues with bathroom. Oh, Shay, did everyone get to draw this custom this wall? So ceramic, you go to edit type, you can create a new wall. أنا حاط ceramic, it's the same on both sides. You can use the other wall, اللي هي مالت interior, this one. Interior for bathroom 1. You can use that and duplicate it. You already have ceramic and concrete sand on one side. بس اللي غيرت ان the wall سويتها 10 سنتي بدل 15 سنتي. So I'll show it to you now. So these are the details of the partition wall. The structure 100 ملي, so it's 10 سنتي. The ceramic, أنا كنت أبي total 150. So I shrunk the ceramic and the concrete, the cement, to be total 150. So 100 10 15. The same thing on the other side. That gives you a total of 150. And it also needs to wrap. Otherwise you won't get the ceramic wrapping around. You want to see it again? At ends, wrapping exterior. I think or interior, it doesn't matter, it will wrap on both sides and it's the same exterior, interior. Okay? الحين, some of you have issues when دخلت the shower. Either it's too tight to next to the sink, and the sink is here, فشلون راح يدش shower, or it's next to the toilet يم الدخلة. So make sure it makes sense how you get into the shower space. But then you draw a line where there's this is flat. Spot elevation محطوطة هنا 4,200, 4,200. After this line with the wall, it starts sloping. So make sure always your slope is heading towards the floor drain, and make sure it's in the proper location. The floor drain is opposite the dakhla. Yeah. This one? Another thing, if you wanted to show a couple of things, you either edit. I will show you the height. شنو يعني standard height that we want? It's for a shower. That there's water coming from the shower. If I make it a low wall, شو راح يصير؟ الماء يدش في الحمام. So شنو minimum height that I want it to be? 2, 1.8, something along these lines. So I put it at 2 meters. Unconnected 2 meters, 2,000. The structure had ceramic on both sides. Ceramic, وبعدين cement. خليت طوفة الحمام اللي interior exterior هذه مالت من الصالة أو من الكلوزت للحمام. I used the same one and then just copied ceramic خليتها فوق on both sides. شو الفرق بين zigzag axis؟ I think what you're talking about is the alignment model pattern. All patterns drafting, they use an origin point بالموديل اللي هو 0.00. الطوفة هذه لو تحركت الحين كذي الباترن قاعد يتحرك. بس that's what's happening. Again, ما راح أغير التصميم عشان pattern شوي غير. مرات I might have to find another way to show it, or I might do a region إذا كلش مو واضح اللي أحاول أبينه.
Dictor and the other wall. شو الماتيريال حطينا عليه؟
أي واحدة؟
with the door.
هذه؟
إيه.
هذه already موجودة عندكم interior wall for bathroom wall. لأن هالصوب فيه صبغ هالصوب ceramic.
This doesn't look fake. البرا.
مجموعة صح.
Yeah, I think some double lines. Yeah, there's a double line.
بس
حتى هذا في شيء تحته. Could be the floor. Why do you have two ceramic tiles? But this hey, look at the one I have.
The third question.
Yeah.
Do I have to add the wall because I have a bathtub? Do I have to add the wall because I already put like a component on the bathtub? Or do I just remove it and do the wall?
Do the wall. I want to see how the partition looks. زين شغلة ثانية الدرين مال الحمام. Where do I usually want to put the drain? Okay, a couple of things I need to think about. Okay, I need to think about the slope, how the water is going to get to this drain. I want to مثلا think, you might have seen bathrooms where the drain نص الحمام. You've seen maybe some bathrooms too. It's not the best thing to see. صح؟ إن نص الحمام there's بالوعد. So it's usually somewhere in the edges, in the corners. Also, where might you find water leaks in hammam? And if the water would leak, where would it leak? Shower, there's already a drain here, so that's covered. صح? Where else might it leak?
Under the sink.
So sink, as well as toilet, صح? So, and usually when you cut the spray on the toilet, it's almost always on the right. Okay, it's unfortunate for left-handed people, but that's the reality we put on the right side. If your toilet عكس هذا, you shouldn't put your drain on the left side of the toilet. The drain الحين فوق الدرين لما ندش نسوي wet areas راح تكون فوقه is the water spray. So if your bathroom is flipped on that, so always keep on the right hand of the toilet إذا نحط the floor drain there. Some of you have it on the left, so flip it. If you're flipping it يا هني يا تحطونه بالزاوية. وتعكسون the slope, you say the slope always towards the drain. Double check things didn't move. Hey, if you find something like this, don't align some of your lines with your model elements or other elements. يعني شوف الحين slope arrow ماشي مع الأرضية. That's a problem. Okay, so move it. فوق تحت. المهم إن it's not interfering مع الخط. Whether it's الأرضية, whether it's with your structure line, whether it's your dimension line. So shift things as they're not overlapping with your other elements. There. Let's go to the roof. Drains should be in the corners, close to the corners. A lot of you copied the example I put in the beginning that had a drain right here. شنو هالدرين؟ من وين جاي؟ اللي كان هني. جاي من الحمام تحت. It was by mistake. So there's no need for a drain there. Okay? And I think intentionally every submission بحط mistake وبشوف منو بيقلد المistake. Okay, in this curve in here, one drain the corner is enough. You could add one here, but ما في داعي. يعني one is enough, so delete the extra ones. The corners, slope, slope, slope. And sorry, and make sure to add mask حق الأرضية حق الspot. لا تمسحونه, hide it. When we find an element مبين بالغلط, hide it. راح تلاقون مثلا كان عندنا ثلاجة بالسطح صح؟ Don't delete it. If you delete it, you're deleting the one with ground floor. So if you can't select it, Revit has some issues. Some things are showing above or below where they should. If you can't select it, go to the level اللي هو موجود فيه. يعني خلينا نفترض من عنده ثلاجة الحين بالسطح ولا شفتوه؟ To select it, if you have issues, روحوا بالدور الأرضي, select it, وبعدين go back to the roof and then hide it. That's one way to select something that's not being selected. Any questions so far on the things I mentioned? View range. Anybody still having issues with their view range? Showing the balcony below, showing what's underlay?
I have the balcony, but where it has
Okay. So by default, أول شيء underlay شيلوا underlay for the roof. So underlay range base level none. لا حد يحط مثلا first floor بين الأشياء اللي تحت. So range base level none. بعدين go to view range, which is under the annotation crop. Edit. Try these settings and see if there's still an issue. Top, and then associated level, offset, cut plane, minimum 1200, ممكن أعلى. Bottom, level below. Who has issues with the material on the balcony? You fixed it? How did you fix it? Offset?
لا بس first كان
And roof? Okay. So anyone still has issues with you after putting these settings? Okay. Any questions about the plans?
أنا عندي spot elevation كان 4050 بعدين point 00 I think. Feels well.
هذا السبب in your spot elevation تشي عليه يسوي edit type. بعدين go to for units format. حاطة use project settings. زين هذا مو مكتوب meters عليه صح؟
بين 2 meters.
إذا مكتوب meters يعني هذا قاعد تستخدمينه بس بالسايت بلان. الحين بالسايت بلان ولا مكان ثاني؟
روف.
الروف should not be the site plan. رسمة السايت بلان نستخدم ميترز. الرسمات الثانية راح تسوين هني target project ما في مكتوب يما meters. When you say units format المفروض يقول use project settings هذا غير هذا لو تبي الروف سوي use project settings.
اوكي. بس بالسايت ولا
بس لا لو هذا meters لا تغيرينه. خليه عدليه meters. راح تصير أنا أقول الحين go back to site. واختاري one of your spot elevations بالسايت. مكتوب meters فوق. زين شنو الرقم اللي يبين؟ 2100.00.
بالميترز مكتوب مو محطوط بالاصفر يعني
بدون أصفار. You have more than one that says meters فوق. You can check them all.
لا بس واحد
مكتوب شنو 8.01 8.1
لا الحين مكتوب 8000 مو
Okay, edit type. Primary units, rated units format. شيلي project settings check. حطي meters هني. و 2 decimal places. لما تروحين باقي الثانيين لازم تغيرينه يصير بدون meters. غيري هذا بدون meters. لما تروحين بالروف
اوكي
شيلي غيري التايب. انزين. يس.
ما spot elevation اللي بالدرج قاعد تطلع لي 2225 مو 50
في واحد
عادي
2250
تطلع لي 225 آخر شيء مو 50 25 يعني 2225 عادي
2225 225
بس ما تدخل الدرج
It's fine for now. When we get to the stairs, we'll talk. Zay, let's go to the ground floor. Set out before class ends. And we want to add the step platform to enter into the house. عشان هذا راح يبين بالelevation بالواجهة اللي فيها الباب. This is what you need to do. Again, I will post on Teams the example. The basic idea الحين لما يكون عندنا دخلة باب، دخلة مكان، صالة، بيت، whatever. We want to avoid what we see بالstudio. تبطلون الباب بعدين step، صح؟ الحين تبطلون الباب there's a step right away، صح؟ بالother classroom في ramp right على الباب. That's not how it should be, okay? المفروض أبطل الباب there's a minimum distance بعدين I have a step. The minimum distance هذه نفسها مالت اللاندنج مالت الدرج وعرض الدرج which is what؟ لا اللاندنج 1.2, okay? فالحين we're gonna there's a couple ways to do this. I can either model it as a staircase, I can either do a custom stair, or the easiest way, at least in my opinion, is we do 2 floor slabs. فوق بعض. Okay? الحين when I do the 2 floor slabs, again the design you can design it as you wish, you can make it wider. المهم إنه بعد الباب عندي 1.20 ما تصير أقل. وهذه هي 300 like 300 اللي هني. And then I have a step and then 0. So I have 1, 2 steps. Okay? هذه is the minimum مالت الدرج. درج كم minimum? When you step 30, okay, or 300 milli. So this needs to be 300. So these are the basic elements that you all need to have a proper step. You can change the design. So to do this, go to architecture, floor, and select generic 150. قاعد اسوي صبة أرضية ارتفاع على ارتفاع الستep. Each step standard 15 سم صح, which is 150 mm. You can do a rectangle. I'm taking the width of the accent wall, again, you don't have to. You'll see the number down is changing, but I want to do it minimum 1200. Hey, if I click, I can modify what I just drew. Select the line اللي تحت اللي تبونه يتحرك, and just write down here 1200. راح يرفع الخط يخليه standard to the size that you want in this image. شنو المفروض تكون تفاصيل الفلور مالتي هذه؟ sidewalk. ليش؟ الحين احنا قلنا as soon as you open the door تبونه شنو الارتفاع يكون؟ Ground floor. You want it to be 300. Now again, you could do sidewalk plus 300. راح نوصل نفس الليفل. Oh, you just say ground 0. يعني you get it؟ زين الحين انا بسوي البسطة. First step أول ما أبطل الباب. أبي نفس الليفل يكون داخل نفس الصالة. ليفل الصالة شنو اسمه؟ اسمه الليفل. Ground. Which is 300 above 0 صح؟ عشان شي قاعد أقول إحنا what we want is 300. It's easier to just say ground وخلاص no offset. If you said sidewalk, you can do sidewalk plus 300. بس يعني why complicate it يعني؟ And they be ground. So change it to ground. Height offset, كم؟
minus 150.
صفر. I just want ground. I don't want offset above or below. Okay?
Where's the second stair?
I didn't draw it yet.
That's why. Okay. That makes
I'm
sense.
doing the first step,
Okay.
step by step. I hit check. خلاص الحين I did my first one. Okay? If you check the pane, you check annotate, spot elevation, كم الارتفاع. Okay? Hey, I want to do my second step. I'm going to do a floor. Again. 150. الحين شنو الليفل مال الفلور هذا؟ بس؟ والهايت offset كم؟
50.
minus
150. minus لا دي minus 150. 15.
لا
15 in our units كم؟
150.
150. I want the step between the 0 and the 300. Half of it is 150. فيا بسوي ground minus 150 أو side. زين. بعطي extra credit for who figures out the easiest way to draw the step. غشيم اللي قبلكم؟ زين. How do I draw this? What's the easiest way? Pick line بعدين offset 330
300.
بعدين
No, not this one.
Select the line.
لا
Why? It's not high.
What's the easiest way to draw the second step? Hey, but if I don't want to do the detail lines with measurements وهذا, I can just do pick lines مع offset. I just offset 300 all around. But then I close the rectangle. Before you close it, make sure your offset is back to 0. And close this rectangle. Right, and then hit check. check. Check your height, annotate, spot elevation. So this is still 300. This is 150. This is 0. So 0, 150, 300.
I'm getting an error message that lines must be a closed loop.
Okay, when you close the last line, make sure you get the end point. إذا ما في لازم يطلع المربع, and then you click and you close. شلتي offset صح؟ آخر خط you have to remove the offset. And then you close it. We're just closing the rectangle. But before you draw this line, شيلوا الأوفست. Offset لازم يكون صفر. نحن حاطين offset 3. Otherwise راح يصير فوق.
Do we have to draw it from all 3 sides?
All 4 sides.
Do you have to draw it from all 4 sides?
Yeah, so it can be a closed shape. عشان تصير floor slab. انزين. هني راح نكتب راح نسويها manually. راح ناخذ up. This is 2 mm. نفس حجم ال staircase. Okay, everyone. Text, manual text, label, up. وهني I actually traced this arrow من الدبل. Hidden thin line. I just traced this arrow to be exactly the same shape and size as the staircase, and I copied it over. And then, class time is up. Last thing I just want to mention, if you go to your elevations, you need to add labels for your materials, and I'll show you what that looks like in legend. So ST for stone, BR for brick. Your top of wall, you can do a text, annotate, text, leader, 2 leader, and خلوه يطلع 90 degrees لفوق. And then take it sideways, and then you can write top of wall, TOW, enter, and then plus the height that you have. If you have the same height, you change it. And then, last thing before we, well, 2 things. Check the dimensions, shown حاطهم. Follow the dimension styles. Your bricks, and then multiple walls. And then 1, 2, 3, كل هذيلا different walls, صح؟ You will notice there's actually some walls that have shifted. I've already fixed it. A lot of them, you'll notice that the walls have shifted their patterns. Like this. Actually, this is different. Some of you have your walls like chili. Okay? You have to start from the bottom left corner and start fixing the patterns of all these walls. Remember how to select it, be it vertical or horizontal. And some of you will have issues with your patterns in this way. Okay, let me look at the other elevation and fix that. So this wall مثلا is not aligned with the other ones. Some walls you might have to join. Try to join whatever walls you have, but then check your, you see this? This is shifted me. So I would find the line, move it to match the line below. And you'd have to change the height as well. So check your height. Okay, so this way you're aligning your patterns. Is that clear? سووه بالطول وبالعرض. This is the horizontal ones, and these are the vertical ones. Yes.
One of the elevations
Okay. Sorry. Last couple of things now. The ground line needs to be the heaviest line. صح? Draw it. Detail line. You can do medium or heavy, wide or medium. Some lines on the edges might be off, so you can also draw the edge of the elevation. And lines. Some lines might be missing for whatever reason, so you can just draw one simple line to get a clean edge of the elevation. Okay? Any questions? You're all checked, huh? Keep going down. Okay, stay. Did you try to see light bulb? Yeah. Change the materials to wire frame. Wire frame. Go to make click on this. Probably what's happening in the soil in connected to module. Okay, uncheck this. Sheet and frame. I want to see the frame. I will remove the crop. Yeah, I'll go to crop. Okay, uncheck this. Okay, this line is that. I'll have it. So I'll keep it up. Sure. Uncheck properly. It's too high. Okay, select it. Let's fix this. Go up. It should stay slightly. Okay, select it and tap. And what are you Okay. Yes.
بخليك ترى اخر شيء واتش